here with Little Big, Little Diddy, CJ, Christian, Little Diddy. We just out here doing what we do.
Diddy told her he was gonna kill Biggie. She knew it was gonna happen. She was purposefully not by her husband's side that night.
I know my father is looking down on all of us tonight in all of this love and support. My sister and I will continue to carry on his name with tremendous pride and live my life by his words.
You have such a history with Diddy who's being honored. What is a moment that you look back from in the past and you think, man, if you could have told us then we'd be at this party, you was gonna be honored, like we would have been shook.
The significance of this legacy, like probably around 15. I want to say 15 when it really set in, like when my grandma sat me down and talked to me.
Welcome back. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to get your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Biggie's son, CJ Wallace, just dropped a subtle bomb, and now people are seriously side-eyeing his mom, Faith Evans, and her ties to Diddy. Word is, CJ's been hinting that Faith might have pulled a shady move on Biggie, and Diddy could have been involved too. CJ's usually quiet, real private, but insiders are spilling that he's never bought the official story about his dad's death. Not for a second. They say CJ always felt like Diddy had a hand in what happened. And worse, that Big was surrounded by snakes posing as family. According to these sources, CJ straight up believes some of the fakest love came from inside Biggie's own house. Then you've got the wild Stevie J twist. Back in 2018, Faith suddenly married Stevie out of nowhere, and CJ was not having it. He didn't get a heads up, no warning, nothing. Just like the rest of us, he found out from the internet. That's cold. But here's the part that really messed folks up. Stevie J is CJ's godfather. Yeah, for real. That's supposed to be family. Now connect the dots. Stevie J's been tight with Diddy since the Bad Boy Records golden era. He was one of the masterminds behind that whole sound. So how does someone that deep in Diddy's circle end up married to Biggie's widow behind CJ's back? Something about that just ain't sitting right, and it's only getting messier from here. Whispers about Stevie J being on the down low have been floating around for years, and now folks are saying he wasn't just close to Diddy. He was allegedly part of those wild, invite-only parties Diddy's known for throwing. But it don't stop there. Stevie didn't back away when Diddy's world started crashing. Nope, he stayed locked in with him. When the feds stormed Diddy's place last March, guess who was chilling at one of the houses? Yup, Stevie J. Now let's piece this together. CJ's upset that his mom, Faith Evans, tied the knot with someone deep in Diddy's crew, and he's making it very clear. He believes his dad, Biggie, got betrayed by people who were right inside their home. He hasn't named names, but come on. The message is loud, but that's just scratching the surface. CJ's also been dragged into some heavy rumors himself. People gossiping about his sexuality, and even saying Diddy and Stevie J's influence on him growing up might have played a role in that. Now, whether that's fair or not, it's what's been buzzing in those inner circles. So here's the real question. Was Faith forced into marrying Stevie J? Did Diddy pull strings behind the scenes to keep her quiet about Biggie's death? Or was Faith double-dipping the whole time, playing both sides without blinking? Let's pull up the receipts and see who's really been keeping secrets. Word on the street is CJ Wallace, Biggie and Faith Evans' son, has been slowly cutting ties with his mom behind the scenes. Insiders say he's been keeping his distance ever since old rumors came back up. Rumors that Faith might have known way more about Biggie's death than she ever admitted. Now let's be real. Some folks online are saying Faith and Diddy were way closer behind closed doors than anybody knew. And get this, some are claiming she already knew Biggie's death wasn't some random hit. It was a setup from the jump. Biggie never even wanted to go to LA at the time. He felt things were way too hot after Pac's murder. But guess who kept pushing him to make that trip? Diddy. And here's where it gets even darker. Jaguar Wright said, Diddy personally told Faith that Biggie wasn't coming back alive that night. That's straight up chilling if true. Now throw in the fact that Faith ended up with Stevie J, another Diddy loyalist, and that she stayed silent while Diddy's world burns. Fans aren't ignoring that. It's giving protect the bag energy. She hasn't condemned Diddy publicly, not even once. And folks are starting to connect the dots. Even CJ's social media is telling a story. He barely posts about Faith anymore, hasn't shouted her out in years, and when he does mention her, it's dry and distant. Real surface level. No warmth, no love. People are asking, did CJ find out something that changed how he looks at his own mother forever? Now let's talk about Stevie J, because his role in this whole mess is looking more twisted than ever. Jaguar Wright pointed out something a lot of folks have been thinking. Faith and Stevie? That couple never made sense, just like Faith and Biggie didn't make sense either. It's almost like both relationships were staged, and according to Jaguar, Faith was being used, played like a pawn by Diddy to help him cut out both Pac and Biggie while cashing in off Biggie's legacy. Let's be real. Anyone who was around back then knows the vibes. Faith and Biggie always felt mismatched, and even Faith herself said in her book that they were never truly solid. She admitted Biggie was allegedly cheating on her constantly, and that they were barely even together like that. Now, does that mean Faith helped set him up? Not necessarily, but it definitely opens the door to some serious questions. Like, how deep did her loyalty to Diddy really go? And what did she actually know about the so-called plan to take Biggie out, while still making him a posthumous cash cow? Here's where it starts to make even more sense. Faith moved to LA in '93 and started off singing backup for R&B artist Al B. Sure, but not long after that, boom, Diddy spots her, brings her into the studio for one quick session, and immediately signs her to the label, just like that. It's giving groomed, and fans are starting to wonder if Faith was in the room not just for the music, but for the plot too. Faith Evans made history as the first female artist signed to Bad Boy Records, and ever since, fans been side-eyeing what really went down behind the scenes. The timing? Way too convenient. So let's rewind to 1994. That same year, Diddy brought Faith onto Bad Boy. She just so happened to meet Biggie Smalls at a photo shoot. And get this, they tied the knot just weeks later. No build-up, no long romance. Straight to the altar. Folks been saying that whole situation felt rushed, maybe even arranged. While all that was happening, Faith was booked and busy. She was laying down background vocals and co-writing tracks for Mary J. Blige's My Life album, plus working on Usher's debut, all while cooking up her own debut project. And when her album dropped in August 1995, it blew up. Tracks like You Used to Love Me and Soon as I Get Home had the charts on lock. It went platinum with over 1.5 million sold. Then 1996 hit. Faith and Biggie welcomed their son, CJ Wallace. But behind closed doors, it was pure chaos. Big was out cheating nonstop, one of the side chicks being Lil' Kim. And Faith? Rumor has it she wasn't about to sit around playing the fool. Word is she clapped back by hooking up with Tupac, allegedly. That one move didn't just shake their marriage, it dropped Faith right in the center of the East Coast versus West Coast war. And we all know how deadly that feud got in the end. Two rap legends gone too soon. And still, the streets are full of unanswered questions. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac was gunned down in a drive-by in Las Vegas. Then, just 6 months later, March 9th, 1997, Biggie was taken out in LA. The whole industry was rocked, and the silence around both murders still hits heavy. But after Biggie's death, Faith Evans finally started speaking out, and what she shared had people looking sideways at Diddy. In an interview with the New York Times, Faith revealed that Diddy's behavior after Biggie passed was straight up controlling and weird. She said he even made her go tanning constantly, just to match some twisted image he had in his head. Puff used to walk me to the tanning salon every other day, Faith said, because I was pale and he wanted to tan me up. He told me he wanted me to walk out of the house and look glamorous all the time. What? And it didn't stop there. Right after Biggie's funeral, when Faith was still deep in mourning, Diddy was already pushing her to perform I'll Be Missing You with him and Sting at the 1997 MTV Awards. No time to grieve, no space to breathe. Faith said she wasn't emotionally ready, but Diddy didn't care. He made it all about the spotlight. She told the Times, "When he wanted me to sing I'll Be Missing You at the MTV Awards with Sting, I didn't want to do anything. I was still grieving. But he got me on the phone and was like, listen, you ain't about to fucks up my thing. I thought my crying would work, but he persuaded me to do it. And while all that was going on, the whispers were growing louder. Folks were already suspecting that Diddy might have known Biggie's death was coming. If he wasn't involved himself, the whole situation? Shady as hell. Let's get real. Diddy was the one who pushed Biggie to head out to LA, even though things were still hot in the streets after Tupac's murder. And here's where it gets really sketchy. Former Bad Boy exec Kirk Burroughs claimed Biggie was actually supposed to be on a flight to London the day he got killed. But at the very last minute, Diddy made sure Biggie stayed in LA. Even Biggie's own mother, Valletta Wallace, never fully trusted Diddy. In her memoir, she wrote, "I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead." She straight up said she warned Biggie again and again, "Don't trust Sean." That speaks volumes. And in her 2020 Breakfast Club interview, Ms. Wallace didn't name names, but you could feel the heat in her words. She said, "Some of his associates, I still want to strangle them." That's coming from a mother who's been holding on to pain and suspicion for decades. Now let's flip back to Faith Evans. Over the years, she's dropped little hints that Diddy's behavior after Biggie's death didn't sit right with her. But despite all that, she never truly distanced herself. Nope, she stayed in his circle, kept working with him, even publicly praised him like nothing happened. Then boom, 2018 hits. Out of nowhere, Faith marries Stevie J in Las Vegas, and the internet lost its mind. This wasn't just random, it was suspiciously quiet. TMZ broke the story. And the wildest part, their own families didn't even know. No warning, no whispers, no rumors. One day, Faith's single. The next, she's hitched to Diddy's right-hand man in a secret Vegas ceremony. That move left everybody scratching their heads and asking, what was she really trying to hide? Faith was supposed to be in LA getting ready for a trip to London, and Stevie J, he was all the way in Atlanta filming Love and Hip Hop. Then suddenly, boom, they're married in Vegas, out of nowhere. Sources told TMZ that even the people closest to them were blindsided, and they were not happy about it, especially their kids. And here's where it gets even messier. Biggie's son, CJ Wallace, was reportedly extra upset. Why? Because Stevie J isn't just some guy, he's CJ's godfather. That's supposed to be family, and now he's his stepdad too? The betrayal hit real close. Insiders revealed that Stevie showed up just days before the wedding and hit Faith with the whole, "We gotta get married right now" talk. One source even claimed Stevie pulled the move fast because he knew if Faith told her people in advance, they'd shut it down. Looking back, that kind of pressure feels way too familiar, like some power play straight out of Diddy's book. And that's not the only thing raising eyebrows. This whole marriage never really made sense to folks, especially with long-standing rumors swirling that Stevie J might not have even been into women like that. Still, Faith went along with it, and things only got weirder from there. Even after Diddy got slapped with that federal indictment, Stevie stayed 10 toes down. He hit up TMZ, defending Diddy hard, claiming he never saw him do anything shady. Then he took it even further and called out 50 Cent, labeling him an Uncle Tom just for speaking up about Diddy. Now fans are side-eyeing Stevie's loyalty, and they're wondering how deep his influence ran, especially over CJ. Did he shape how CJ sees the world? And why did Faith let Diddy be around her son so much while he was growing up? The puzzle pieces just keep stacking, and the picture's looking real dark. Now that the truth about Diddy's shady behavior is starting to come out, especially the way he moved around younger artists, it's getting real hard not to look back and raise some serious questions. After Biggie was gone, Diddy stepped in as a major presence in CJ Wallace's life. And guess what? Faith was right there too, part of that same tight-knit inner circle. So the big question is, how much did Faith really see? She had to have heard the whispers, the wild stories, the chaos Diddy brought with him. And yet CJ was still spending a lot of time around Diddy, even when Faith wasn't there to keep an eye on things. Now with all the allegations and receipts pouring in about what Diddy was doing behind closed doors, fans are definitely side-eyeing the choices Faith made back then. Was she unaware? Was she trapped? Or was she turning a blind eye for the sake of her own spot in the industry? And let's keep it real. This wasn't just any industry. It was male-dominated, ruthless, and cutthroat. Maybe Faith was doing what she had to do to protect her son, or maybe she was following Diddy's lead to keep her career alive and untouched. But the biggest cloud hanging over it all? Those chilling rumors that Faith knew what was coming for Biggie, that there was a plot, and she stayed silent. So what's the truth? Survivor or accomplice? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.